Al Capone, Woody Woodpecker, Fred Flintstone, Oh yeah, what y'all know about these moves, bro? I got them dance moves too, yo! Gonna be doing a double review this week. Gonna talk about the latest Fairy Tale episode and the latest TerraFormars episodes. I missed out yesterday because I was sick. And yeah, I'll get a little more into that in a minute with the TerraFormars episode because it kind of relates to the TerraFormars episode, believe it or not. Fairy Tale episode, I honestly gotta believe that they were trying to make it, the dancing in particular, all that stuff with Cancer and Gray, so bad that it's good. Like, it was so, you know, we had Michael Jackson in this episode, straight up. It was Michael fucking Jackson. Gray turned into Michael Jackson for this episode, and it was like, this is so bad that it's good, that it's funny, because it's like, what in the blue fuck? Like, oh, Connie, you doing it for me? I was like, the best thing about this episode is we got some progression, and it was funny as hell because it was just like, why am I looking at Fairy Tale Gray dancing? Like, yo, what in the blue? Like, they wanted to top themselves, and they're doing it. They're doing a great job at topping themselves because it was like, yeah, I mean, I got entertainment out of it, but not because of anything other than that. It was just so like, wow. I couldn't believe myself. I guess, again, the fact that the Yu-Gi-Oh match has finally ended, you know, your move finally finished, and Connor defeated her opponent ultimately. Okay, good in that aspect. And then, of course, Gray defeated his opponent, so we got a little bit of progression in that aspect, and that's good there. But it was just like a dance match, like, and then it turned into ice skating, and then it looked like for a bit that Cancer fell in love with Gray. I don't even know, like, yeah, I laughed at you know, portions of it, and some of it just felt like, wow, especially, one of the best moments of the episode, I think, was, like, when Jubia was like, oh, I feel like I'm missing something, like, yeah, you sure did, you probably would have been creaming yourself there, laughing at the same time, but, yeah, that's really the extent of it, and you also had Natsu and Wendy, you know, kind of advancing into where they need to be, but not really, like, again, it was just a bad episode for the most part. I guess it's kind of, you know, gets a few points for progressing through the story, but dancing. Michael fucking Jackson was like, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Like, why? Why? Maybe a 3 or a 4 for that episode. It was funny at best, and again, I don't even know if I should, like, I feel like I'm watching these Fairy Tale episodes so that you guys know if these fillers are safe to watch. That's where it's at right now, and it was like, if you want to see Michael Jackson, Lucy being tickled in a bikini, which, by the way, Lucy and Virgo, yum, yum, yum. But that's the extent of it with them. And Jeopardy as well. You got a little bit of Jeopardy with Levy. It's like, what am I watching? Tickling, Jeopardy, and Michael Jackson. I'm fucking done. And now moving on to the TerraFormars portion of this review. The TerraFormars episode, very good this week. I will say that it didn't top 2 weeks ago, the stuff that happened with Adolf, not last week's Adolf episode, the 2 weeks before that, where it was just like, it felt like it was executed brilliantly, getting his backstory and then that dagger in the rock. That shit was great. This episode, it was good. It was very good, actually, but his backstory just wasn't on that same level as Adolf, but it was still, at the same time, kind of, you know, sad. And it was just kind of weird to see a little bit of boxing elements in there with this guy, Keiji, which, you know, his backstory, basically his mom being sick, and I like how his mom actually kind of, you know, was trying to motivate him in a weird way, saying, you need to stop with your mother complex and go get a girl and go get some kids. And it was like, you could tell that it fucked him up really badly. And the thing that I think TerraFormars is learning, and it's a little bit too late at this point, but I think they started to learn that you need to focus on these characters. If you're going to have this many characters, you're going to have to give these characters at least an episode so we can understand them. And I think they only learned it back with the Adolf stuff when we started getting like full-on episodes about Adolf. Had they done this prior to this, I think TerraFormars would have had a better pace because it felt like they slowed down the pacing a lot with these past few episodes, which is good because it was just like, you know, glazing through everything. And this episode with Keiji learning his backstory, the boxing, the eye problem, which, funny enough, yesterday I was feeling sick as hell, and I also was having an eye problem, and like my eye was really, really hurting me yesterday. It was like, I don't know what the hell it was, if I scratched it or irritated the fuck out of it, and I'm there with an eye problem watching an anime episode about a dude with eye problems, and I'm like, please don't let it be the same problem, please. But just kind of getting into Keiji more, it feels like I wish we would have known a little bit more about him earlier on, because it's kind of like he's been there for a while. Only now, though, are we getting more about him. And again, it wasn't as strong as the Adolf stuff, but just overall, it was like, I respect this dude, him going in, showing his little boxing stance and shit like that on some Hajime no Ippo type of stuff. So, pretty good stuff this week with TerraFormars. Animation and art, for the most part, looking good as well. And yeah, it was just one of those touching moments. And I feel as though the pacing for TerraFormars, I wish would have been the same way it was like with this episode. And again, this is unfortunate that we're only having 13. There should have been like 24 and possibly even 2 seasons of 24. But I guess they're learning a little bit late that you should have like full-on episodes because there's so many characters in TerraFormars. But when you get a full-on episode explaining their backstories and giving more context to the characterization of them, it makes a lot more sense. In this episode, again, not on that Adolf level, but still like a very good, like, I think 2 weeks ago, I think I gave the Adolf episode a 9. Last week, I think I lowballed it, and I kind of want to go back to that. As far as the score goes anyway, I think I lowballed it. I think I gave it like a 6.5, and that's something that I kind of don't agree with now. Maybe I'd give it a 7.5. I was mainly just disappointed the fact that they built up Adolf's death and kind of didn't. So I'm thinking between like a 7.5 round there for last week's episode, and of course it was like a 9, 9.5 the week before that. But this week's episode, probably about an 8, 7.5 to an 8. Again, very good stuff, but just it's unfortunate that we're getting this late in the game, and the pacing is starting to get good this late in the game when we only have a couple more episodes to go. But let me know what you think, first of all, that fairy tale episode. What did you think of it? Did you want to listen to some Michael Jackson afterward? And the TerraFormars episode. As a matter of fact, if you're getting a little tired of these fairy tale fillers, until fairy tale gets back to the canon bits from the manga, I suggest you go watch some TerraFormars. It's pretty fucking awesome stuff, although it's not for the faint at heart. So if you can't stomach a little violence and shit, then probably not for you, but it is fucking awesome. And your overall thoughts of both of these episodes, if you've seen either of them, let me know what you thought. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you can do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Woody Woodpecker, Fred Flintstone.